15th night of Dhul, 1445 after the Hijrah, Wednesday the 22nd of May 2024. We're on episode 77 of the Concise presentation of Fiqh. We're continuing the section on the business transaction, and today we are on the heading Lost and Found, page 501. This topic refers to all found items of value concerning which it is not known who the rightful owner is. In general, this topic refers to lost items other than animals. Animals are known by a different name. Dolala.
Dalala is different.
Dala. What is the obligatory on the
Okay, just hang on a second. Just to make sure that we are the correct thing. Right. Right. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa wala. Did we talk about this luqata or started with the laqit? Are we same page correct? Yes. Al-luqata. Al-luqata is every respectable money, wealth, which is being found and the owner is not known. And also the animal which is lost. As for the person, we've got another section for it. It's called al-laqit. Al-laqit is for the human being. So this to do with this is property, wealth. And as for the animal, will be included in it, it's called dalla. It's called dalla. Dalla means an animal which is lost this way. طيب. So here we have some rules regarding this.
What is obligatory upon the one who finds lost wealth? If someone finds some wealth, it is obligatory upon him to make known its type and amount. He then takes a trustworthy person as a witness to what he has found. He then safeguards the wealth and announces it for a period of 1 year. If his rightful owner claims it by identifying its sign properly, he is to be given the wealth, even if it is after a year's time. Otherwise, the one who found it can benefit from it. Suwayd ibn Ghafla said, I met Ubay ibn Qal, and he said, I found a money purse containing 100 dinars. I went to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, make a public announcement concerning it for 1 year. I did so, but nobody claimed it. And I went to him and he said, make a public announcement concerning it for 1 year. I did it again, but nobody claimed it. So I went to the Messenger of Allah ﷺ for a third time. He then said, keep the container in its string to tie it. Count it, and if its owner comes, give it to him. Otherwise, use it. The sub-narrator said, I met Suwayd in Makkah, and he said, I do not know if it was 3 years announcement or just 1 year.
The correct one is actually the 1 year. So the principle says when we have doubt, because it says I don't know, then we'll take the one which has been emphasized. And the emphasized one is in Hadith Zayd ibn Khalid al-Juhani, who he said it is for 1 year. So it is for 1 year. The person will announce for that found property. Riyad ibn Himar
said that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ had said, whoever finds a lost item should have 1 or 2 trustworthy people witness it. Then he should not change it or conceal it. If his owner comes, he has the most right to it. Otherwise, if the owner does not show, it is the wealth of Allah that he gives to whom he wills.
Right, so let's just now from these two give some notes to do with the rules. The luqata is the thing that we just found, property or money, okay, is one of 3 types. 2 types to do with the property and 1 type, which is the animal, which we call it dalla. First type, property or money, which normally people neglect and they will not look for it. Person lost 20 pounds, they're not going to go spend 20 pounds petrol to go look for it. They're going to leave it 30 pounds, 40 pounds. So what the people consider is insignificant, not really that much. Okay, so the person who finds it, he'll be the owner. He doesn't have to wait for 1 year. unless the person who said that, well, you know, I left 20 pounds, did you see it? So this is the 20 pound of yours, or the 40 pounds, or the 50 pounds. So when you find it, it's yours. What is the best for you to do it? If you don't need it, give it for sadaqah, because this will give you the reward and the reward for the person who lost it. So give it sadaqah on his behalf if you don't really need it. But if you knew who is the owner, let's say that the money or the properties has a name, or you've seen it before with somebody, okay? So you've seen a mobile, no mobile. In the mobile is known now these days. You could know who it is. Then I'm sure give it to that person, even if it's a simple mobile. But anyway, this is something which is, we call it the first type, insignificant. It's not really that much. It is, you're going to be the owner of it. Best thing is to give it as a charity if you don't need it. And if the person, the owner came, you knew who he is, you give it to him. This happened with me, subhanAllah. We were with two brothers. I was with three brothers. And that's about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. We went to a place for hiking. And we came to the town center during the night. And we were passing through a store shop. It's not really that big, but it's big, but it's not that big. And there was a machine service still outside. And I just passed by it, and then I saw 20 pounds, not 40 pounds, two 20s, which is coming out from the machine and has been left. Subhanallah. So I took that money, 20 or 40, can't remember. So, and the brother said, oh, mashallah, it's yours. I said, hang on a second. And I went to this store, and I went inside, and I just saw about 6, 7 people from the beginning left. I looked, and I just, subhanAllah, I saw this person at the end of the store to go like this. And I said with the child, I knew that the child takes his mind off. I said to him, did you lose money? He said, no. Oh, the service still. I said, that's your money. They thought I'm a holy man. The brothers are with me. How did you find out? I didn't find it. It's a hunch. This person got a child. SubhanAllah. I didn't really ask anybody except for him at the end of the store. And he cannot be seen from the beginning. And I gave it to him. And I said to him, we are Muslim, that's why. We don't take money like that. I had to give him this. Yeah. It was encouraging to read about the deen as well. So this is called, 40 pounds. If you did not find that person, I would give it to other charity. Maybe he's not going to receive the charity because he's not a Muslim, but at least I give it a charity. I will be as what it was if I don't need it. Second type is what the people will certainly look for it. It's expensive. This, if you find it, then you have to keep it for 1 year. If it is money, let's say it's a purse and it's got money. Okay. You've got mobile, take pictures of it. You could use the money within the year, but if the person came, you have to give him the money straight away. Because you could, no problem. But if it's an item, like they said, you can't, it's a mobile, expensive mobile, you can't use that. So you can't sell it, can't use it. It has to be for you for 1 year. You could give it to the lost found properties, for example, an office, okay? Or the police, they take it, okay? An item which is worth nothing, but people will look for it, keys as well, lots of keys of a car in the house, or they will look for it, where it is. So you keep it with you for 1 year. If you want to use it, you have to be ready to give it within the year straight away if you ask for it. It's money. If an item cannot replace it, it's not replaceable, don't sell it. So let's say it's been 1 year. You don't find that. It's yours to use it, but still, if the person comes, you have to give it to him. But what's the difference here? After 1 year, I've used it, and he came after 1 year. Brother, where's my money? I said, yeah, it's your money, but brother, I've waited for 1 year. I didn't find you. I've used it. Now I will give it to you once I have it. So it doesn't have to be on the spot. Because I've used it, but please wait. I've used it. I was waiting for 1 year or 2 years. So inshallah, I will give it to you, but you have to wait. And he has to wait. It could be months, 2 months, or the guy he had used it after became to him. It's his unless you come back to get it. Now you have to wait for him, and he collects it for you. You know, he gathers the money, because sometimes he doesn't have money. That's a difference here. طيب. If this item that you found that cannot stay for 1 year expires, do you understand? It's expensive, but it expires. Okay, so you do the best for it. You sell it, but you take pictures of it and all of that, okay, to make sure that you don't forget. And then you sell it, and you know how much of the money that you got for it. You did the best for it because it can expire. So you sold it. It's very good. You've done the best. Do I need to take a witness? Scholars have differed. The Ahnaf, they said that it is must. Also, the Malikiya, they said, well, if you think that he might later on, that he would say that he owns this money that he found, it would be better when he finds it to get what? A witness. Because he might change his mind in his heart when he says it's mine. So take it as a witness. But he does not tell the witness everything about it. He will tell him, I found a mobile. He will not tell him the make, because in case this guy, the witness, he will tell somebody else, claim that, you know, I'll give you the description of the item. Because he's a witness. So you give him, you know, I found gold. But you don't tell him what does the gold look like. Why? Because in case that witness, he might tell somebody else about the description, the very detailed description of that thing, and then he'll start claiming from you. So you tell him something. The correct opinion is that you should have a witness. Even one witness is enough. Why? In case he dies and the inheritors, they think this is from the inheritance. So this guy, he found about 5,000 pounds. So he should have a witness that in case if he dies, that this 5,000 pounds does not belong to the estate of his, and the inheritors should not inherit that. This should be kept until the person who owns this 5,000, 10,000 comes and gets it. Okay? Fine. So that's another issue for regarding the witness. Now we're coming to the third one, which is the animal. Dalla. Dalla is of 3 categories. Well, this is not in your books, but you're going to be Dalla, 3 categories. Let's just read what the author has written, and then we'll go categorize the 3 things. Dallatul ghanam. Fadal.
Lost sheep or camels. If one finds a lost goat or sheep, one should take the animal and announce what was found. If its owner comes, it should be returned to him. Otherwise, the finder becomes the owner. However, if one finds a lost camel, one is not to take the camel because there is no reason to fear for the camel. Zayd ibn Khalid al-Juhani said, a Bedouin came to the Prophet ﷺ and asked him about finding lost items. The Prophet ﷺ told him, make a public announcement about it for a year.
That's the hadith which says 1 year. So we have now for 1 year, not the doubtful is 3 years. You remember? This is the hadith for 1 year.
Safeguard its container and tie its string.
That means know how it looks like. Pictures now is very good to take that. Now,
if someone comes and describes it to you, give it to him. Otherwise, you may utilize it. He then said, what about a lost goat or sheep? He replied, it's going to be for you, your brother or the wolf.
So you choose. You found an animal. So it's going to be for you, you take it, or for your brother, for another person who's the owner, or you leave it for the wolf. It's in the soul. Now.
Then he said, and the lost camel? At this point, the Prophet's face turned red and he said,
what that means this is wrong. Why are you asking about the camel?
What do you have to do with it? It has its feet, its supply of water, and it can reach places of water, and it can eat shrubbery.
You should not be considered that to be a lost animal. Camel by itself. They don't just a camel, they got straying nowhere, it's mine. No. Camel, they know how to go, where know their places. Okay, so from this, right, we got now 3 categories of animals. First, which is matrub, left. How do I know it's left? This is like a very weak, ill sheep wandering around. You know that the owner, he doesn't want it. He just left it. So this will be straight away owned by the person who finds it. The people will know that this sheep is dying. That's why the owner, he left it. So that's yours if you want to take it. Second type is the one that we know that it is not being left. And it is strong enough from the small beasts like the wolves and all of that, small beasts. So the small beast will not attack it, will not be able to, you can't be protected like the camels, like the cows. You're not allowed to pick it up and say this is a lost property, a lost animal. So this is an animal which is strong, can protect itself against small predators like the wolves. So you're not allowed to take like the camels or the cows, like buffaloes as well. Buffaloes can even fight, lions, never mind the wolves. The third one, which is that it is not being left, but it cannot protect itself from the small predators, like the sheep. Then what should you do? It is better for you to pick it up, because the Prophet said, either for you or for your brother or for the wolf. You left it, it's going to be for the wolf. So you take it and you do the best for it. Okay? So the best for it, what is it? So to sell it, to keep it, to eat it, slaughter it. You do the best for it. It's nothing to do with keep it for 1 year. This is for the property or the money. So you do the best. So if you have eaten it, you will estimate how much does it cost in the market, such as an animal. So you will know how much it costs. Or you could sell it, and whatever you get from the money, then you keep it. That's for the owner when it comes. So if you eat it, you estimate how much it is. If you don't eat it, if you want to, let's say, sell it, keep the money. How much is it? Keep it. Okay? It's not correct to leave it, okay, just like this. It's not correct. But if the owner came, so you kept the animal, give it to him, or you have estimated how much it is because you also have eaten it, or you give him the money that you have sold the animal for. Otherwise, if nobody had come, then it's yours. The money is yours. The food, you've eaten it already, is yours. Now, right. Prophet ﷺ said, ضالة المسلم حرق أو حرق النار. That means the Muslim's lost animal, it will lead you to the hellfire. That means if you have taken this animal and you know that who is the owner, in order to claim ownership for this, then it will take you to hell. Okay? Right. If this person come and wanted to ask for this lost property over the animal, he doesn't have to bring a witness, this is mine, as long as he is able to describe it, what he had lost, whether the animal or whether the property that he lost, then he is entitled for it. I shouldn't say, go bring a witness. Let's say he doesn't know, no witnesses. He bought it, nobody knows about it. But he knows the details of what he had lost. I lost about £5,000 in £5 notes, for example. And it's what, £5 notes? That's a good, he knows. It's his. Type. When you want to tell the people that you found something, you tell it in the places where, or any methodology by which, or any method, I should say, by which you know that it will reach as far as you can. So maybe the police station, because the police station sometimes they will not accept it. Just keep it with you. They don't want to take it. Some police stations they have possibly we give it to them. Some police stations in other countries, I'm not saying this country, you don't trust them, you don't give it to them. They must take it themselves. Okay. Allah al-Musta'an. Once I have lost my keys from my flat, and that was back in the 1984 in this country, and it was in Manchester. And I left them in one of these telephone red boxes. They don't exist anymore. I was calling my family through the red telephone box, and I left the keys there, and it's got my flat. I got a car on it, but it's very important piece. And it's got a special medal in it, which is Qatar. My father works. It's got Qatar there. And I think it was an afternoon. In about 3-4 hours, where is it? I can't find it. So I said, let me phone the police station. It was in Piccadilly, town center, Piccadilly. I found the police just for that. I said, I've lost something. He said, okay, hang on a second. Let me talk with the department. I've lost my keys. I think I left it in one of the case boxes, one of the red boxes here, the telephone box. He said, do you have something distinguished for it? I said, you got Qatari medallion. He said, we've got it. It's only 2, 3 hours. The police station is too far from that box. I would say maybe a couple of miles. But that guy, Jazakallah khairan, thank you very much. I said, did that person put his name? I want to reward him. He said, no. He did not. Just somebody found it and he put it there. I went there, okay, and because I described it. They work by Islam, mashallah. Because I described it, they gave it to me. And I was so happy. I was so happy. So, alhamdulillah. So you could put it in social media, you could put it in a newspaper sometimes if it's very important, newspaper. One person came to me, he said to me, I found gold. Where did you find it? He said, I found it I was traveling from Algeria to England. He's Algerian. Where did you find it? He said, I found it in one of the seats. Where is he going? He found it. It's worth more than £3,000. Proper gold. It's in a bag, left in a bag, just like a carrier bag. What did you do? He said, nothing. I've still got it with me. I said, how long has it been? He said, it's been 3 months. He didn't tell anybody. This is not yours. It is yours once you have. So you have to really now start from now counting how many days you're going to be doing it for 1 year. You can't sell it because it's gold. It has to be kept in this. It's gold. It's got like the necklaces. I can't remember. 3,000. I said, okay. First thing, phone the Algerian airline. Because must be that person, he will go to the airline. Phone the Algerian airline. And he did with me. And I'm talking about 2003, 2004. He phoned. He said, okay, thank you very much. We will tell you. They said to him, how much? He said, don't tell him how many to go. What is his? Just tell them I found gold. What is the flight number? Which date? They didn't find anybody to trace that they had made, like an inquiry about it. Nothing. And after 1 year, I said to him, oh, it's yours. It's yours. More than 3,000. So this person, he doesn't know where he left it. He lost it. Subhanallah. I'm sure now every time you get out of the plane, you're going to be searching. Maybe somebody had left something there. Coming back now to the حكم المأكول. تفضل.
Finding edible and insignificant items. If someone finds something edible along the path, it's permissible for him to eat it. Similarly, if he finds an insignificant item that no one would care about losing, he may take it and own it. Anas radiallahu anhu narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed by some dates along the path, and he said,
one date, not date, tamra.
Passed by one date along the path, and he said, if I did not fear that it had been given in charity, I would have eaten it.
Because the Prophet ﷺ is not allowed to eat from the charity, nor the people who are from the family of the Prophet of Allah, which they call him Sayyid, and they're not allowed to eat from zakah or sadaqah. They're not allowed to eat from that because this is the dirty money. Because you are trying to expiate your money by giving the zakat, that's dirt. You don't give it to the Al Muhammad ﷺ. So he said that this, because of it, could be a possibility that this is from the zakat. Otherwise, I would have what? Eaten it. And even he saw one Al-Hussein radiallahu anhu, his grandchild, was about to eat. Like this, he said, leave it and eat. Because we could be what? Sadaqah. It can't be eaten. So now, date you find apple, let us say 20 pounds, 30 pounds, nobody's going to look. You're not going to go. People are going to laugh at you when you put in the social media, I found 30 pounds, I found money there. Nobody's going to look at this. Once you do the 20, 30 pounds, you say, khalas, I lost them. You're not going to look for them. But it's good if you found them, for example, as I said, like me, I found this in Service Hill. I went to the next door shop. Somebody said to me, wallahi, said, I found a watch. I said, where? In Saudi Arabia. I'm going to tell you now. So, is it within the Haram border? He said to me, no. In Mecca, but it's not in the Haram border, outside the Haram. In Saudi Arabia. I'll tell you what's the Haram. I said, okay, well, you found the watch. Where did you find it? He's in a shop. The shop, what does it sell? He said, watches. That is funny. So he found a watch in the watch shop. I said, it's not lost property. Go and send it back to the shop. This is the shop. And the shop himself, if he doesn't own it, he knows the person who is going to have it, who's going to come back to it. That's not correct. You can't find a watch in the watch shop. What is the haram? So all of this thing does not apply to the haram. In the haram, you're not allowed to take it. To pick it up and give it to the office. So if you found money in the haram, okay, then you have to give it to the, if it's little money, then give it in charity. It's not yours. Give it in charity. But if you think considerable money, gold, that is within the haram border. The haram border, which is, it's a considerable big area, but it's about 13 miles from one side, 4 miles from one side, 12 miles from one side. It's called haram, sanctuary. Allah has made it sanctuary from the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Haraman amina. Oh Lord, make it haraman amina. So the person, when he goes to the haram, he's feeling secure. No arms to be there, not to fight in the game, not to cut the trees, not to as well bear arms, and not to pick this lost property. Pick it up, give it to the office. So when the person, let's say, make it haram, in the haram, he lost his mobile, he's happy, no problem. Somebody's going to give me my mobile because it's going to be taken. Nobody dares to take it home. I'm saying if they are proper Muslims. But inshallah, most of them are really proper Muslims. So in the haram, lose something, and it's supposed to be, you're going to find it in the lost property fund straight away, because people are not allowed to claim it after 1 year or something like this. It has to be handed over. Haram. And Medina as well is a sanctuary. Prophet ﷺ made it a sanctuary, just like Ibrahim ﷺ, he made Makkah to be a sanctuary. Coming to Luqtat al-Haram, this is the one.
Lost items found in the precincts of the inviolable most can only be picked up if they are to be announced perpetually and will not be owned by its finder after 1 year like other articles. Ibn Abbas narrated that the Messenger of Allah said, Allah has made Makkah inviolable. It was not permissible for anyone to fight herein before me, and it was only permissible for me for a portion of the day. Therefore, its shrubs are not to be uprooted, its trees are not to be cut, its game is not to be chased, and its lost items should not be picked up except by whoever announces it publicly.
Right. So, the Prophet ﷺ in that hadith, he said that Allah Azza, he made it only lawful for the Prophet to fight in it. This is a few hours of the day, and then return it back as a sanctuary. No fight in it, no killing in it. That was when the Prophet will regain Mecca. We call it Fath Mecca. Except for one type of plant that you're allowed to cut, and it's called al-idkhir. Because al-idkhir, they make it for like a scented grass. They take it for the houses and all of that, and also they put it in the graves. It's a scented grass, and that was because of Abdullah ibn because of Abbas, the uncle of the Prophet. He said, "Messenger of Allah, illa al-idkhir." I mean, you prohibited the cutting the tree except with the idkhir. You make it in our houses and the graves. He said, yes, illa al-idkhir. He had emphasized what his uncle had said, illa al-idkhir. Now, coming back to al-laqit, human being. What time is the graph? 45, okay. Okay, let's just start with the laqit. Laqit is good. Human being.
Finding a lost child. This refers to finding an underage child on the streets, lost along the way, one whose lineage is not known. The ruling of taking such a child
is not known, and it is not known as one if he's being slaverized or slave for somebody. Right. So this is called al-laqit. Al-laqit, who is a child who is being left, mambooth. Now, how do we know? It's either that he's got a piece of paper next to him, look after him if you find him. You find him in front of the masjid, means somebody left him and left. Okay. And usually it is the case, it will be one of the very poor people, and that's a rare case, but it could be one of those children who was being born illegitimately. Like this girl, she had a legitimate relationship, and she's very afraid of her family. So she gave birth, she will, because she doesn't want to look after her. Okay, she will give it, put it in the masjid, and put a piece of paper. It's called this is kafal. It's called laqit. Now, this is a laqit chapter after al-luqata. And luqata is to do with money, property, and also to do with the animals. As for the laqit, is to do with the human being. Okay. Now we're going to come to the rule of picking him up. So he said, by the way, he said the one who is not adult. Yes? The one who is not an adult. Yes, a child. It's a childhood. Okay, so so that means the adult is not one of them. Except if he was an adult and he is between some tribes which would fear upon him, then you have to protect him because one of the tribe might kill him, something else. Because the Prophet said, "Unsur akhaka zaliman aw mazlum." Protect your brother, whether he is wrongdoer or he is person who's under oppression. How do we, Messenger of Allah, help him when he's a wrongdoer? He's an oppressor himself, to prevent him from his oppression. Now, child who's lost is not one of these laqid. Can't be called him laqid. So let's say you are on a fun fair or something like this, you found a child whose his parents left him. This is not called laqid. Okay, that's called lost child. Lost child is different from the laqid. Laqid was being disowned. This child left. Not he lost. Child lost is different from that. So you have to understand that. So it's not allowed for you to go and find, for example, a child on the street who's left his parents left him. He just went he jumped on a train and he went to a different city. Then you found him. I mean, of course, these days, if you're going to turn it to the authorities, and the authorities will find out who it is because we can't find out by the DNAs and all of this who this belongs to, alhamdulillah. And I'm sure that he's got parents who they will be going everywhere and for the sake of finding him. And by the way, in the time of Hajj, you'll find lots of these lost, children, time of Hajj, child who left his parents. Okay, rule, please.
Ruling of taking in such a child. It is a communal obligation to take in lost children, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, help you one another in piety and righteousness.
Okay, so it is a fard kifaya. It's called communal obligation. And it is upon the person who is the first to see him, unless you're the first person to see him, you are to look after him. Unless you find somebody else who will take care of him. Okay? So that is why you're not allowed to leave al-laqit, the one who is like this, disowned, to die from the heat or from the cold. To pick him up. So if you found him in a masjid or outside the masjid, you're not allowed to leave him because he's a human being. And we're not allowed to leave a human being to die. Go ahead.
The child's Islam status as a free person and maintenance. If the child is found in Islamic state, the ruling is that he is considered to be a Muslim.
Meaning that he is an Islamic, because he's an Islamic state, that means he's considered to be from a family who is a Muslim. As for the child himself, whether he is in a non-Muslim or an Islamic, he is a Muslim. Islam, he's born as an Islam. Prophet said, each child is born on the fitrah, which is Islam. But now the rules of Islam will govern him if he's being found into an Islamic area. Fadl.
He's also considered to be free regardless of where he may be found. This
is to do with when there is slavery there. If there's a slavery land there, we consider him to be free straight away.
This is because the basic ruling concerning all of humans is that they are free unless proven otherwise. If he is found in the possession of some wealth, that wealth may be used to meet his needs. Otherwise,
and we could use that without the permission of anybody, without the permission, the leader or the authorities or the council, the permission of the child if he's old enough. So let's say the child we found. So the guy who had left him, he left him with some money, with 1,000, and he brought a paper. This is 1,000 to look after, please, and this to help you. So that money I will use it. Even that child, he said, no, I don't want you to use it. That person is going to look after him, he will use it. And he doesn't have to ask the council, the authority, to use that money for the sake of whom? For the sake of the child, not for the sake of himself. Now, otherwise,
it should be maintained from public treasury.
Public treasury, the house of treasury, Baytul Mal.
So
usually it's the case that the children will, like this, they will be found some with papers and some money with it. Okay, so if with looking at this, that means this money belongs to him because it's close by. Okay, otherwise, because if it's not close by, the money becomes what? Luqata, you understand me? It's not for the child. So if you first found the child in the masjid, but actually about a couple of 200 yards, I found money. That's nothing to do with the child. You understand me? It becomes the luqata, which we had talked about, the rule of it. طيب.
Sunayn Abu Jamila, a man from the tribe of Sulaym, said, I found a lost boy, so I took him to Umar ibn al-Khattab. He said that was called Urayfa. I said, O Commander of the Faithful, he is a pious man. Umar said, is that so? He said, yes. So Umar said, take him with you.
It doesn't make sense. There is something here very, very important to understand. Again, Sunayn ibn Jamila, man from Bani Sulaym, the tribe of Sulaym, he said,
found a lost boy.
A lost boy, okay.
He took him to Amir al-Mu'mineen.
I took him to Umar al-Khattab. Then?
Umar ibn Khattab said, that was called Urayfa.
Huh? No. So he took him to Umar al-Khattab. This because the guy who translated the book doesn't understand. Arifi. Arifi means a person who knows who's this child belonged to from complexion wise. It's called Arifi. That means Arifi, the ones who is acknowledged as from Araf. It's not a person name. Did you understand me? A person who is, he is in the field of knowing from the complexion. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, when they used to accuse that Usama is not the son of Zayd. Usama was really black and Zayd was blonde. So they started talking that Zayd is, is fornication, all of this. One day they were sleeping, and all of them covered except for their feet. The feet of Usama, the son of Zayd. This person like this is called Arifi. And as soon as he passed by these feet, he said, these little feet are from these big feet. Prophet was so happy. He went to Aisha, did you know what this curse he said? That means he's not a fornicator, alhamdulillah. These feet are from these feet. It doesn't come from somebody else.
So he's saying Umar al-Khattab is somebody who can...
No, so he came to Umar al-Khattab. So a person who's next, was working there, or maybe not working, it was a person called, he's a person who's got this job, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, he is a righteous man. So this person who knows complexions, who knows tribes, is a person, he knows these people. So when this person came in with the child, so he said that this person is what? A good man. He knows him because he knows the complexions, he knows the people, he knows the relationship between the tribes. So Umar, he said, is he righteous? He said, yes. Okay, then take him. And he take him, I mean the child, you look after it. Take him, and he's free. And for him, his emancipation. What does that mean? That if this person to grow up later on, and then later on to make money, and if you had no agony to inherit him, no sons, no father, you'll inherit him as well. You'll have his wala. وَعَلَيْنَا نَفَقَةٌ. Upon us, that is the house of treasury, that is the expenditure. We will spend on him the money. So the person who's next to Umar, this one, he is a person who knows who is this person, who is that person. Do you understand me? So he's this person coming with a child. He knew that this person is a righteous man. So he said, Umar Khattab, the leader of the believer, is a good man. He's a good man? Yes. Okay, khalas. He could already now look after this child, because this shows us as well the Khalifa will not let any person to look after somebody or a child, because he could be a person who is no good.
So the Urayfa is saying the father is a good man, the pious man.
No, not the father, the one who had found the person.
Okay, the person, the Sahaba that found the person. So
if we start from the beginning, Sunayn ibn Jamila, he's a man from Bani Sulaym. He said, I, Sunayn, found a child. Yeah. So I came to Umar, a person there who knows the complexion. He said, it's called Arifi. That means the one who knows. So he said, only to the believer, that means Sunayn, is a good man. Sunayn is a good man, the one who found the child. Is he? Yes, he's a good man. Okay, Sunayn, now you take him. And he's free. Who's free now? The child. The child that you took is considered to be free. That's what we said. He's free when you find it. He's free. And you have his emancipation. And upon us, upon the house of treasury, is his expenditure. Is that okay? You understood that? Totally different translation. Now,
the inheritance of a found child. If the found child should die and leave some wealth, but no.
Right. Before that, we need to know. Oh yes, it's there. Sure. Yeah. Further.
If the found child should die and leave some wealth, but no heirs, the public treasury will inherit from him.
So it's not the, so it will take, the public treasury will find him. Now,
similarly, the state shall receive his blood money if he happen to be killed.
Right, according to the Umar al-Khattab, he said that you will have his emancipation. Imagine if he was a slave and you set him free. He's free now. So imagine he was a slave and you set him free now. So when you set somebody free, you'll have the emancipation. Emancipation, that means al-wala. So if this slave who's been set free, later on he becomes a rich person. And he left nobody except for his wife and this person who had set him free. There's no relationship except that he was his master, he set him free. So his wife will inherit the maximum, which is a quarter, and this person who is not even related to him will inherit the 3/4. Yes, this is Islam. Now, this child is not a slave, but the Prophet Khattab, he considered him, he said he's free. That means he was slave when he was, not picked up. When you picked him up, he's what? Free now. So you have his emancipation. Okay. But if that person who has been grown, the one who's been set free, or this child, he had an agnate, that person will not inherit. The emancipated will not have nothing. What is an agnate? Like if he's got a father, or father of the father of the father, anybody, or a brother, full brother or paternal brother, or he's got a son, he will not inherit zero. But if he had no agnates, meaning not women inheritors, has to be men inheritors. Okay, men, women, no. So if he's got a daughter and his daughter will take half, or he will take half. Wife, he will take quarter, he takes 3/4. Wife and a daughter and him, he will take, the daughter will take half, the wife, the daughter will take half, wife will take 1/8, and he takes the remaining, which 3/8. Emancipator. Now. طيب. So even if he's to be killed, he said, he will take the blood money. This person to be killed, he will inherit from the blood money as well. The Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah said to Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah, he says that it's really more priority that the one who found him and looked after him is the one who has the more priority to inherit him if he's got no inheritor. Okay, and that is correct according to Umar al-Khattab, that you are the emancipator. He is the emancipator. That's what Umar al-Khattab said. طيب. Let's go now to the Nasab.
Okay, claiming a relationship. If a man or woman claims that the child...
I'll leave that because we've got 4 minutes. Claiming a relationship, that means, is it allowed for me to name this child to me? So I found this child, so I call him such and such, the son of my name. Of course, we're going to tell you later on, it's not allowed. It's not like English adoption. You know the English adoption? It's not allowed. That they change the name of the person. You're not allowed to change it. He has to be, if he's known his father, then you give him his father's name. If it's not known his father, then you have to give him a different name. It's not your name. It's not your son. Even if you have breastfed him through your wife, you're not his son. You're not his father. His father by giving milk, by breastfeeding is different from being the actual blood father. Okay, so he's not allowed. That's why the people used to call Zayd, son of whom? Muhammad. Zayd ibn Muhammad. And Allah abolishes it. ادعوهم إلى آبائهم. Call them to their parents. وأقرب أقصد. This is the better, more closer to Allah, closer to the taqwa. Call them to their father, attributing it to their parents. And that is why Allah, He commanded later on that the Prophet ﷺ is being told that Zayd is going to divorce his wife and you're going to marry him. And the Prophet didn't want to have that. He didn't want to, because this is his cousin first, and how can he? And people are going to say, look, he had married whom? His daughter-in-law. Were they saying Zayd ibn Muhammad? So he's marrying the wife of Zayd, and Zayd called Zayd ibn Muhammad. So Allah, He wanted to abolish everything to do with this. Because if it is his true son, he's not allowed to marry his wife. Sahara, true. So that's why He wanted to abolish this, Allah Azza wa Jalla. He said, he's going to divorce her and you're going to marry her. The Prophet ﷺ started with all his might when the problem started to reconcile between the two. He doesn't want this to happen because what are the people going to say about him? Okay, and he's trying, and he knows already he's reconciling him, but he knows the qadar is that he's going to divorce her. And when he divorced her, and then later on her iddah finished, Prophet ﷺ had mentioned her to who? To Zayd. So Zayd is going to ask for her hand to who? The Prophet. He's going to ask the divorcee of his. He said when he went there, he said, she is different now. Because she's going to be the mother of the what? The believers. She's going to be his mother. So when I went there, I felt some sort of haiba, which is like fear or the sheer respect. Not the divorcee, which I had problem and headache with her. It's a different person. I was going to be the wife of the Prophet. Subhanallah. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He had from the seventh heaven commanded the Prophet to marry her, which is, and that's why she used to boast. Okay, Zainab her name. She used to boast. You wives, you be married from earth. Allah is the one who made me married from above seven heaven. Allah had made me to be married from above seven heaven. Fine. Stop this, inshallah, and we have nothing for time of question and answers. And we'll just do the adhan, inshallah.